During the run-up to the first turn of the British Grand Prix, Zhou's Alfa Romeo was hit by George Russell's Mercedes. This caused Zhou's car to flip over, then glide through the gravel in a spinning motion before vaulting the tire barrier and hitting the catch fencing floor first. After a horrifying collision with George Russell's Mercedes, Zhou's vehicle rolled before being flung through the air and into the fence. A bump in the gravel trap caused the driver of the Alfa Romeo to lose control of his vehicle, which caused him to fly over the tire barrier and into a fence that was protecting spectators. Following the collision, Zhou's Alfa Romeo slid into a space between the fence and the tire barrier, effectively confining the Chinese star inside. Zhou's Alfa Romeo was flipped over at 160 miles per hour and skated along the runoff area and gravel before barreling over the barrier and into the catch netting. F1's first Chinese driver miraculously escaped the harrowing incident unharmed, thanks in part to the cockpit protection system, which was implemented in 2018 amid opposition and criticism over aesthetics. After his terrible accident on the opening lap of the British Grand Prix, which caused the race to be delayed for more than 40 minutes, Zhou gave the cockpit protective gear that is used in Formula One credit for saving his life. It is a tribute to the FIA's process of examining and learning from every significant incident in Formula One that both Zhou and Alex Albon, who was engaged in a severe accident of his own further down the order, escaped their crashes without major harm. As was the case with the events that led to the development of the Halo, it is possible that the lessons learned from Zhou's mishap at Silverstone will one day help save a life. This was also the case with the accidents that led to the development of the Halo. In an earlier F2 support race, Halo shielded Roy Nissany from a collision with Dennis Hauger thanks to its design to hold the weight of a London double-decker bus. Hauger's car was launched over a sausage curb in Val and landed on top of Nissany. Without a doubt, Nissany would not be here today if it were not for the fact that she was protected by the Halo from suffering terrible injuries that may have ended her life. Ferrari's Carlos Sainz, who ultimately won the British Grand Prix, remarked, "We occasionally criticize the FIA, but you have to give it to them how much they've been assisting us. They have possibly prevented the loss of 2 lives. We owe it to them to recognize the remarkable contribution they have made to the protection of others." In a conversation with Formula One, Palmer expressed his belief that the FIA will investigate whether or not additional enhancements are possible, while also recognizing that the current safety systems should be commended for, at the very least, avoiding Zhou from suffering a serious injury. The former driver for Renault commented on the accident by saying, "Really amazing, and again, it's a testament to safety in Formula One that you can have that accident. Actually, as it happened, I saw the red flag was flown right away, and you didn't realize the extent of it until you saw the car had flipped over the barrier, which was incredible to see. It's not very frequently that something like that takes place." The video footage that was recorded from the grandstands showed the people diving for cover as the Alfa Romeo careened towards them. The only things that kept the spectators safe were the catch netting and the base of the stand itself. Palmer continued, "It's pretty uncommon, but I would say the debris fencing did a wonderful job to keep the car out of the road in the circuit still, and hopefully Zhou is okay. It was a massive hit, but with every big crash that happens, we learn about it. Ever since the Grosjean one, there have been modifications, and there might be changes again and again. Maybe with... I have no idea what will go into place, but one thing is certain, an investigation will be conducted." Alfa Romeo driver Guan Yu Zhou tweeted after his crash at the British Grand Prix that the Halo cockpit protection device on his car had saved his life. Despite the effectiveness of the Halo, Zhou's incident brought up 2 additional F1 safety concerns. Is it time to reevaluate the tire barrier? Zhou's vehicle was thrown over the tire barriers after becoming entangled in the multiple car collision that occurred at the opening bend. After this, the vehicle was able to fit through the narrow space that existed between the catch netting and the barrier. Zhou was gently removed from the wreckage of his car by the medical crew, but the task was made more challenging by the angle at which the car was positioned. The catch netting fulfilled its purpose in the end, which was to protect the marshals, photographers, and fans in the grandstand. However, there were doubts made regarding the placing of the fence in respect to the tire barrier. If Zhou had been unable to escape because he had suffered a catastrophic injury, or if his car had caught fire, the scenario would have been even more difficult, worrying, and time-sensitive. After crashing his Mercedes, Russell, who is a director inside the Grand Prix Drivers Association, was one of the first people to arrive at the site. He raced over to the other side of the track to check on Zhou and was one of the first people there. Russell described the situation as horrific, stating that he was stuck there in that posture. There was absolutely nothing else that he could have done. I believe that we need to have something in order to prevent the vehicle from becoming wedged in the extremely narrow space that exists between the tire barriers and the metal fence. Simply put, he was unable to go since there was nowhere else for him to go. Something to take away and improve upon. The failure of the roll hoop is the second key problem. An additional cause for concern was the way the rollover bar on Zhou's vehicle looked to break. This is likely going to be the primary focus of the investigation being conducted by the FIA into the horrific accident. The terrifying photographs and video footage of the accident revealed that the roll hoop did not make it through the first roll and appeared to be completely ripped off as a result. As a direct consequence of this, the only thing that stood between Zhou's head and the ground was the halo. The obligatory roll hoop must be able to sustain loads of 60 kilonewtons in the lateral direction, 70 kilonewtons in the longitudinal direction, and 105 kilonewtons in the vertical direction. During the crash tests, there's a criterion that every Formula One team must fulfill in order for their vehicles to be judged safe enough to compete with. Because of this, the chairman of the GPDA, Alex Wirtz, requested action from the head of the FIA, Mohammed Ben Sulayem. Wirtz noted in a tweet on Tuesday evening that the last time, as far as I remember, an F1 roll hub failing was with Pedro Diniz, Nürburgring 99, jumping over me. As a result of this, the GPDA demanded more stringent crash tests, which the FIA immediately executed and implemented. Please check your mailbox, Mr. President, there is more work for us to do. After the frightening accident that Zhou Guanyu endured at the British Grand Prix, Mercedes test driver Anthony Davidson has requested that the FIA investigate the safety of the roll hoops used in Formula One. Davidson stated that the roll hoop really didn't do its job and predicted that the FIA would probably ask questions about the matter. He suggested that the roll hoops used in Formula One should be as strong as the halo in order to guarantee that they can shield the drivers' heads at all times. In an interview with Sky Sports News, he made the following statement. The main thing I think the FIA will look into are the frightening images I've seen of the car from the aftermath of the crash where the actual roll hoop seems to be missing. When you really think about it, that didn't accomplish what it set out to do at all. The roll hoop ought to be as robust as the halo, remain intact at all times, and shield that driver's head from the effects of collision. Nevertheless, it did not do any of these things. Therefore, it is expected that they will have inquiries regarding that. He continued by saying, I haven't talked to the FIA yet, but of course I will when I get the opportunity. I'm going to think that it's a way for marshals to get in and out. But why is it that size? For a Grade 1 FIA safety circuit, there must be certain regulations that need to be followed. Why does something like that even exist? And why is it the way that it is? It's awful, but I'm sure they had their reasons for doing what they did. But the automobile could potentially fit into that space. Zhou's mishap not only served as a reminder that there is always room for improvement, but it also helped Formula One avoid a more catastrophic conclusion at Silverstone, which was made possible by the tireless and never-ending effort put into ensuring driver safety. What do you anticipate from this latest crash? Would there be any major safety changes? Tell us what you think in the comments section below. And until next time, stay safe on the road and see you then. Bye-bye.